Hello everyone, Nordic Beast here, and welcome back to the Shipyard. So this is Sectan's snow planet. Freaking awesome, right? I wish it had a little bit more ice, though. It's all snow, so that's kind of a bummer. And, here, you know what? I'm just going to go to spectator views from these here. I am actually on a big ice ball around a Jupiter-like world. Really like that. Now, I don't know exactly where the hell that was. So, I think it was down here somewhere. Ah, it doesn't matter. Go back to F6. There we go. Everything tries to render back in. So today is about a couple of designs that I have, as you see here, for aerodynamic vehicles and land vehicles. So I am actually going to start with this little guy, the Hover Go. Very simple design, not much to it. Now, all these designs are all run off remote control blocks. So, turn that, there we go. Now this just runs on the 2 downward thrusters and 1 rear, and it works just fine for getting around. You have to tilt away from the direction you want to go to, give downward thrust. Don't crash, don't you crash, you little shit. Oh, it is quite tough though. Look at that. Oh, it looks so sad. So try not to smack it around like I do. But the idea behind this was just an easy to build, getting around ship for early on, like on a planet. Oh, this is a little disorienting. There we go. Now, actually flying, other than that little nose crunching crash, can be a little tricky, again because of the tilt method, because it has no yaw. There we go. So I want to go right, I tilt left, and then vice versa to slow it down. So you can't make the most precise landing sometimes. Sometimes you just want to get down and then cut your dampener so you'll actually get to the ground. It's just meant to get around a planet, nothing else. So now these two over here that look like Hueys are the Dragon and the Dragon Slayer. The Dragon is the utility version. The Dragon Slayer is just the armed version of it. And it also has a timer back here that's linked to the 2 rocket launchers to alternate fire between the two. So you have, again, if you're using realistic settings, you get 8 shots instead of 4. So I personally like to stretch my ammo out. Even if it is a little staggered. Now, the reason I armed a version, originally I just had a Gatling gun on one side and a rocket on the other, because I was dealing with the damn space spiders. I was flying around an alien world and just all the time, space spiders. So I made an armed version, then I thought, well, if I'm going to make an armed version, I might as well make it like a military model. So that's essentially what this is. Now, it still has the ore detector on it. It can still be used as the utility version, just armed. Now, a little story behind it. Both this and the Hover Go were designed the day before planets came out. Where's remote? There we go. But with ion thrusters, so they've all been altered. Now, the Dragon model here, I had shown my friend Barbarian Marzajon, or John for short, which he'll actually be in an upcoming video soon, this design, and he ended up making some improvements, and I really like them, like these front thrusters, and how the side thrusters are arranged, you see in the tail. Originally I had them where the cargo... Oh! Don't you... Come on. That's what I get for not paying attention, sorry. And no dings or dents, so that's good. Stay still, damn it. Anyway, originally I had them up where the cargo containers are, so they were kind of poking out a bit, and I kind of liked them back there a little bit better. He had done that. He had also put like... Oh, not that. There we go. He had also put like this high tail back here at thrusters. I didn't care for that. So yeah, I adjusted those, and he had also made a model with no connector, and he had put landing gear here, but then you couldn't charge the batteries because there was no connector. So I like the idea, and I put a landing gear back here. So now it is utility. It can actually pick things up. earlier I crashed. Oh no, you know what? I crashed a dragon around here. Ah, there it is. I was gonna say, I can't remember where it was. And I was like, yeah, you know what, I should see if I can go pick that up. Because the engines had broken off of it. Now, it's not easy to pick up random items that aren't actually designed for being picked up. But I mean, if you had another person with you to guide you, you could also have them bring a couple of pieces of steel and build like a couple of blocks up to make it easier to carry. Oh, there we go. I grabbed it by the landing gear. Perfect. Now, this does have batteries. Or, I'm sorry, it does have cameras. It has batteries too, but it does have cameras. But cameras with... Oh, I got it! Cameras with remote blocks. The remote blocks, when you exit out of the camera, it exits out of the remote block too, which is kind of irritating. So you have to shut off the cameras, which is just a big hassle. Now the problem is this thing only has a single gyro. Come on, slow down, slow down, slow down. So it is a little sluggish when it's carrying stuff. Like it can carry that Jeep design I have down there, but it's even more sluggish with that, even though it's lighter than this hunk of stuff I've got here. So there we go. Boom. So if that was a grinding pit, I would have nailed it, you know, or say something designed to be able to grab it and flip it, and you know, you could rebuild it. So yeah, that is the dragon. I freaking love this design. On planets everywhere, I take it with me. So my next idea is I want to build one that is an extended cabin, so I'd extend back here a little bit, maybe push the wings back a little just to even it up, even though I don't technically need to. Though actually, in here, it's actually pretty hollow, so I might just make an extended, you know, I would just extend back here for more seats, and that's it. Just for a more heavier of a transport version. And then next, after that, I want to make one that it extends, so like the front half, like up to here, is still pretty much the same, but it's going to be hollow, and it's going to extend that back to here with more wings, so that you can attach things. If you've ever seen the Sikorsky Skyhook, which was just this giant helicopter, or I'm sorry, the Sky Crane, not Skyhook. I think Skyhook was one of its names, but I could put, what do you call them? Like cargo containers, like big giant container pods underneath, or personnel pods, or even pods with like oxygen systems in order to give people life support, or even say like a drop pod, you know, for people to be able to escape from an area, things like that. So the concepts for it are limitless. So yeah, I will have more versions of this soon. Now next up, I have, well, this actually doesn't have a name, it just has the designation, UGV-3. Let's just call it the Jeep for now. It looks like a Jeep. I originally made this for one of the weekly knit contests. Give me a second, let me get a sip of my coffee here. Oh, gotta love me some coffee. Anyway, the original design actually had cockpits, and it had these seats, but these back ones here were actually batteries. But it runs off of 6 reactors internally, and then it has a jump start up here. And that's more than enough. It's totally conveyed into the medium cargo container and then into the connector. So it's all hooked up. Now it originally had mass blocks, the artificial mass blocks, but it doesn't need them. I'm never going to use this like on a vehicle or on a station or a ship or anything, so it doesn't really need them. And it actually handles surprisingly well. Now it's supposed to be... Where's this? It's supposed to be like a utility vehicle. So, you know, like a Humvee or a Jeep. And the reason it has that little hook on the top is so that one of the dragons can pick it up and deliver it. Ooh. Come on, chill out. Slow down. There we go. Yeah, you gotta be careful in the turns. It still wants to tilt, so you gotta be careful. You gotta slow down on turns. I limited it to about 60 kilometers an hour, which isn't bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad either. Oh, no, there we go. took that turn a little too close. And park. Oh, I was going to... No, I'll leave the gyro. Keep it stable. So, next up... Here we go. See how it all fits together here. A little too hard. Sorry, that's what she said. No. There we go. So yeah. And the Jeep weighs about 6,000 kilograms, but I think it's because of the, it might be because of the wheels also, but because it has a gyro that's active, that wreck was not active, it had no power to it. No, 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 no! Oh, I wasn't paying attention again, I was talking too much. Well, it's a video with commentaries, I should be talking. Anyway, yeah, I think it's also because of the wheels and all that. Because I mean, I'm just pounding on the E and Q key here, and I'm just barely rotating. Alright, so. The cool thing about this is you can actually come in at a reasonable speed, and whip. So you could do like a drop insertion just like that, and then just keep going. Especially if it's like a big, enemy hotspot. So yeah, that's the aerodynamic vehicles I've been making lately. So I didn't want people to think, as much as I bitch and complain about the aerodynamic thrusters and how much I dislike them, and how I honestly do wish they would change it so that ion thrusters were useful in atmosphere. Which actually, I was talking to that John guy again about this. What I wish they would do, make it so that the ion thrusters are still 100% efficient in atmosphere, but their power consumption goes through the roof. So any extra power you're using is probably going to use up in order to keep those thrusters working. So if you do want a transatmospheric fighter that can, it's equally as good in atmosphere as on the ground, you got to put in the power consumption for it. I think that's a good balance. Just food for thought, I suppose. A lot of the time I've been using some older thruster mods that work on both planets and out in vacuum space, and that seems to work just fine for me. The only thing that sucks is it's all tiered items, and I don't like tiered much. So, just a quick recap. Like I said, next up I will be building a longer version and then a Sky Crane version of this. And with the Sky Crane version, I want it to be able to carry 2 of those Jeep designs. And with the Jeep design, I don't know, I was thinking about trying to make an armed version somehow. I could probably fit a machine gun turret up there somehow, or I could use that mod that came out with where it's a machine gun ring. That's freaking awesome. The guy who designed that, I tip my hat to you. That's awesome, absolutely awesome. But yeah, my Sky Crane one, I do want to carry 2 of those, and maybe I'll build like a wheeled tank next. I could also finally make the hover tank that in my second episode of Welcome to the Shipyard I had designed. I was trying to use artificial mass and thrusters along with sensors to just kind of hover a tank at a certain level. Well, now with the way thrusters work, I can just kind of thrust it up and get it to a certain level. Maybe get it heavy enough so that it just barely clears, it can just barely lift itself up. So you're not really flying it, you're just kind of keeping it level, and then give it a fixed weapon of some sort. So maybe that'll be my next vehicle project. Well, if you guys have any ideas on that, let me know. Put comments down below and let me know what you think. I've been trying to come up with concepts based on those comments before, so. Which reminds me, somebody recently had posted about my orbital bombardment when I was with Dracul, about using a rocket-powered version. They do help, but not much. It's not enough to. It's not enough for the cost. It's kind of a pain to launch them, with rockets and all that, when you could just launch them using gravity and just dumbfire, compensate for the gravity and all that. I've had tons of fun with it. in that video, if you watch, we nailed all around that ship, and that ship was not that big. If it was a base or a compound of some sort, we would have destroyed that base. Trying to target something individually from that far, not easy. Soon I will have to try that orbital bombardment system on an actual planet like this one. Maybe I'll do that next. And see if, from 50 kilometers away, I can actually hit a base. So there's that Camelot base. In fact, Last Stand Gamers did a review on it recently. It's been on the top of the workshop all week. So maybe I'll give that a try next. Alright, one last thing. I took the standard Dragon and made an extended version of it and cleaned up the back here a little bit. I don't like this little space here, this little gap, but that's about the best I can do. I also had to extend the landing gear down by 1 block, which actually would probably work a little bit better than being flush against the fuselage, but it weighs the exact same amount. Like I said, I just had to clear out there was a bunch of empty space back here. Actually, I just realized I also removed the little reactor that it had. So let's put that, see right here. Bam, look at that. Perfect. So now it has this jumpstart reactor. And it still only has a single gyro, but again, it's the same weight, so that's all it needs. And now it's a really good utilitarian vehicle. I think even better than the previous model because it carries more people now. So, that being said, with the attack version, I kind of cleaned up the back too. Took out its cargo space because it doesn't really need it in this model. This one, I might end up adding a cargo container or two, come to think of it, just for troop cargo. So, just in case they need to carry something with them. I don't know, we'll see. So, but I'm quite pleased with this. I think these will be my official versions. This will be the attack version. This will be the transport version. I also think I will next try something like the Cobra. There was the Huey and then the Huey Cobra. If you've never seen them, just look up the Huey and then look up the Huey Cobra. Both are made by Bell. The Cobra was the first attack helicopter. They took the same tail, engine, prop, or rotors, everything, but designed a full new fuselage that was very narrow. I think I might do the exact same thing and do like a 2-seat attack model. So, I don't know. That's it for now. See you guys next time.